I don't bully
You
people.
bullied me in that
No,
group message, and we're supposed to be
Daniel.
friends.
You know the reason we became friends?
Why?
Like a long now. This has been, we'll say 16 years, 2008 probably.
Yes,
Is because I didn't let you bully me. You go around bullying everyone else, and
no,
everyone else
dude,
was
that's
kind
a
of scared to
bad
give it
word to
back to
use.
you.
That's
And
a
I
bad word
said,
to use.
yeah, and I said, listen, you got to verbally assault them back, and
You just
I would
picked
give
on
it
me
to you
constantly
back.
at the training center. You constantly picked on me. You had no respect for the fact
Stop! No, I was the
you
only
had
one to
no
stand up
respect.
to you.
You had no respect for the fact that I was the senior member of the team. You
See?
disrespected me from day one. You
No,
disrespected
this
me.
is why I was the only one who wouldn't just roll over for you.
Yeah, it was
You know
fun.
the
That's
other one
why I
you didn't.
like.
Hey, we actually have to. We should do a shout out on the show today when you do this because the only other one you didn't mess with, and I think it was likely because you were scared of him, was Steve Mako. His
Oh
son
my!
just won a
His son
17-year
just won a
world
world title.
title.
Can you believe
Heck
that
yeah,
his son won the world? Oh my God! What I wouldn't do
awesome.
for my son to win the world, I
Yeah,
would pay whatever money you could imagine for my son to be a world champion, and he killed everybody. And
yeah,
yo, you
he's
know what's
awesome.
crazy? 2 years ago, he wasn't very good. He just
He
got
was.
good.
Let's see. Yeah.
Little Michael just got so good in a short period of time. Steve's doing it right down there, man. He's training kids
Mhm.
out of America Top Team. Great
Yes.
job. Hey, last thing, Ben, before you go. So
What's up?
Joe Rogan was talking about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight.
Oh, I can't believe. I thought everyone was gonna. I thought that was gonna blow over. It
No,
wouldn't
it's
actually
happening.
happen.
It's actually happening.
I
We're
know.
doing a preview on the volume on my channel.
You.
I am doing a preview of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, so Joe Rogan is talking about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Here, I'm googling it right
Yeah.
now.
Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought in a very competitive bout.
That was still a
Even
minute.
back and forth. Um, and then Roy Jones lost to Anthony Pettis, who was a very good striker, but is much smaller, right? And is probably past his prime. Um, and Jake Paul is probably, he's probably legitimate. 185, he'd be big at 185. So he's probably bigger than that. Anthony was a 55 pounder, right? So we're
Yeah,
dealing with much different sized people. Um, I just feel like 58 is, I mean, yes, the one thing you probably retain is the power. So it's probably Mike Tyson needs to catch him.
but bro,
But the gas tank and all the other things that go along with it are definitely go downhill, especially when you haven't been doing it very competitively.
but you're 58 years old. Okay, so
Yeah,
I just read
58.
that
That's what I'm
article and I
saying.
was kind of trying to skip around and I butchered the shit out of it. It was terrible. But let me give you just the quote because
Okay.
again, I'm trying to find this. Come on, Lou. Louise, come on, baby. You got to help the boy out. But anyway, he did. Louise said, this is the quote.
Okay.
58 is 58. No matter what you're taking and what they're doing for you, you're still 58. But 58-year-old Mike Tyson is not 58-year-old Mike Jones that lives down the street. He's a different type of human being. He can still knock your head into another dimension if he can catch you. So again, to that point, he's saying,
Yeah,
doesn't matter the age. If Mike catches you, he can knock you out. You know what?
I
The
agree.
thing about it to me is I understand that and I get it. And I get what he's saying. And I do agree that the way Mike looks on those pads when he is hitting pads with Rafael Cordero, it looks like there's still something left in there. But then I watched Jake Paul fight Mike Perry and I watched Jake Paul get pressed to where he starts to feel uncomfortable. And it looked like Mike Perry had a chance. But then
Mhm.
Jake has a reserve tank to go to and get and draw from because he's 28 years old. And
Yeah,
then he comes back and he ultimately finishes Mike Perry. But
yeah,
early in the fight, Mike Perry's getting beat on. Drop, he looks outmanned, he looks outmatched. But then
yeah.
after he starts middle rounds, he starts to work his way back into the fight. Mike Perry is also a young guy. But then
Yeah.
as the fight went longer, Jake Paul draws on this reserve,
Yeah.
finishes Mike Perry. Many believe that in that reserve is a few banned things.
Oh,
But at the end of the day, it allows for Jake to draw from that and put himself on a path to get a victory. That is my concern. Because what if this thing looks like a 58-year-old man fighting a 28-year-old man when Mike can't draw from that reserve tank to stay and compete with this young kid.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's how it's going to go. That it's going to be competitive early, and 58 is old, and he's probably going to get tired. And yeah, I mean,
Do
I've
you
said
know,
this.
like,
I think it's not a win-win because I think like I think it's kind of dumb
I
because
think it's a lose for Jake Paul.
that's how I feel. Yes, agreed.
Because
Because
if you
everyone
beat
loves
up
Mike
Mike Tyson, then
Tyson,
you're beating up Mike Tyson. Like
and you're beating
everybody
up a
loves Mike
58-year
Tyson.
old. Why do you want to fight a 58-year-old? He's 58. He hasn't been actively competitive in I don't know 20 years.
How do you think this came about?
I have
What's
no
the
idea.
conversation look like when a guy
I have
goes,
no
I want
idea.
to fight Mike Tyson?
I mean,
Hey, you saw Floyd
maybe
Mayweather fight
same
last
thing
week?
I said. Same thing I said is Bilal, right? Where it's like who's the biggest name that I can fight, who I can possibly beat, right?
With the
That's
less amount
the,
of risk.
the least amount of risk. Yes,
Least amount of risk. Hey, Floyd Mayweather fought last weekend. Bro, I had no idea Floyd Mayweather still boxes.
it's something weird about, but he's not. It was like an exhibition. It was like
He
one of the
fought Gotti.
Gaudis or something. But he's
Dude,
fought him before.
what is going on with this?
I
Like,
have no idea.
it's so crazy. Like,
That's
because
when we're
Mike,
like, who paid for that? Because to your point, I had no idea. I saw it on Twitter the next day. Like I had no idea that it
well,
was
was still
going on.
doing it.
Yes.
Mike Tyson actually doesn't really need the money. So it's
Yes.
surprising to me that he's fighting.
Yeah.
It's very surprising to me that
I
he's
think
fighting.
I think he does like what the Pauls are doing, bringing attention to boxing, and maybe he wants
Yeah,
to
you said that.
push that forward. I think that's probably most likely because yeah, I don't think he needs money. I think he's perfectly happy. He's old. Maybe he does. Listen, I told you this. I would wrestle another match or two. Like I don't want to do a tournament.
But
I
the
ain't trying
right
to wrestle.
person, though.
Although I was giving out a lot of money. I listen. I had a great bike workout yesterday, Danielle. I pushed myself hard, and I said, Iowa wants to write me a check and find me some eligibility. I'm in.
Ben, but let me ask you this though. Tell me a 60-year-old person in your life and tell me, do you think that they can compete at any level?
I would say there's zero precedence in any combat sport. I mean, have we ever had anyone over 50? What was that one that Bernard Hopkins? Didn't he fight for a really long time? Like he
Bernard
was like
fought
an
it
Iron
for a
Man,
long time.
like a
Hey,
really long time.
what
Like
if Mike knocks him out though?
I
Then it's
mean,
over. Then like where does Jake? I mean, where does
all
Jake?
time
Everything's done.
backfires. Yeah.
It would be an all-time backfire.
Yes.
I don't think nothing's ever been done like that in the history of sport if he gets knocked
Yes.
out.
Yeah. Let's see. How long did Bernard Hopkins fight for? He's
Bernard was the man at 40.
he's
At 40, he was
59
still like the
now.
best.
Yeah. I want to say even later, Daniel. Let's see,
47
his
maybe?
oh my God, his last fight. Now he did lose his last few. But it looks like, well, look, and listen, I know there's a lot of organizations in boxing, but it looks like he retained his heavyweight title at age 49 and he lost it later that year to Kovalev.
Okay. Oh, he fought Kovalev at
At
49
49.
years old.
Yes.
Well, Bernard Hopkins is a beast.
Seriously. So crazy.
Brian just said he fought at 51 years old. Bernard
Yes.
Hopkins. So maybe, hey, now I'm starting to believe Mike Tyson might get. No, hey, that is it. I'm starting to believe, Ben. I'm starting to believe now.
I mean, wouldn't we all love to see it? I just let's not get our hopes up.
This dude, Ben, is funny.
Listen,
All right,
Santa,
Ben,
Santa may not bring you anything nice, but if he does, it'll be a great surprise.
just take it and be happy. Take it and
Yes.
be happy. Ben, you're the man, bro. I love doing these. I love doing these.